Welcome to today's instalment of DraftStar TV, episode 2. I'm your host, Jacob Gooden, and I'd be lying to you if I said I wasn't surprised that we were given an episode 2. I'm even more surprised that I haven't been replaced as host. But I'm not complaining about it, so without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to the man on my left, 203 game decoy full forward, Ben Dixon.
Plays on, seconds only remaining, they've got to take a mark. Yeah! Dixon has taken a mark with 5 seconds remaining.
Now, Ben's requested that we get through today's show as quickly as possible to avoid his facial hair growing back before the end of the episode.
Your comedy hasn't improved since episode 1, and the reason we got episode 2 is it's actually free and we run it. So that's why it's up again.
Well,
and you're still not getting paid.
Just like to introduce you to the only man on the panel who's been a part of a premiership.
A day premiership.
Robbie Campbell.
The one that matters.
Kick at the back. Campbell marked strongly over the top of his teammate in the end.
And he tells everyone that he played a night premiership too.
Now, Robbie, you pulled on the boots again this year, is that right?
Jacob, funny you ask, because you've been at me for probably 8 months to come and play. So I'm actually playing with Jake's team out at East Burwood, and we've won 1 game out of 2. So big game this week, which I'm really excited about. But yes, mate, I pulled the boots on again. Local footy, love local footy. Really enjoyable. Get out there and have fun with all the boys and play footy for what it's for, and you love it.
Good to hear, mate. Now, we might start with you. Is there anything in particular that you'd like to touch on?
For starters, I want to start with DraftStar's Supercoach and DraftStar's tipping.
So if we take a look at the Supercoach ladder at the moment, actually, can we avoid doing that?
We better, because you promised the car. Well, you would win the car.
Pinching myself just quietly. Very excited for a big season. I'm going after that car.
But you're not going to drive anything bar this segment, I would have thought. And a Datsun 120B is probably what you're going to get at the end of the year.
Well, you really are a fossil, mate, because I have no idea what a Datsun 120B is. I'm presuming it's something from back in the day. But moving right along to the footy tipping, where you can't say much at all, Dicko, because you're sitting in second last place in a field of 23 with a solid score of 19 tips after 5 rounds. What do you have to say for yourself?
My only excuse is I haven't submitted my tips for 4 weeks. But we'll punch it and I'll hit the ground running, don't worry. I'll mark my words, by episode 4 I'll overtake you.
But on...
If we get to an episode 4.
On the other hand, I can't say too much bad about Robbie because he's sitting 2 places above me. So what's your secret, Rob?
Look, mate, just slow and steady at the start. You know, just warm myself into it. I have been burnt a little bit by having a bit of a soft spot for the Ds. Lost a couple of games with the Ds, but...
Lost a couple? They haven't won one.
Lost, obviously, 5 with the D, so falling a little bit behind, mate, but I definitely see myself with a late season run. But don't be too harsh on Dicko, mate. He struggles turning a computer on, let alone putting his tips in. So.
Yeah, what's that?
Yeah, every week he writes his tips down on a pad at home and thinks that everyone can see him, but he's got to understand he's got to actually put them into a computer.
Yeah, just so you know, a notepad is not an iPad. There's a difference.
So people still using mail?
No.
Okay.
Fair to say they are not. Moving right along, we have just come off some camps recently, and we got an exciting opportunity to work with the AFL Multicultural Academy. How was that as an experience for you guys?
Well, before we delve into that, I've got a quick question for Dicko, a really serious question. Damien Harwick used to be an assistant coach of the Hawks. Did he leave on good terms?
Absolutely. Great terms. Clarko's best mate and still is to today, and yeah, well, the Hawks would have him back at a heartbeat.
Well, mate, explain this little bit of footage for me.
Well, as you can see here, that's the table tennis table from the Hawks. Dimmer definitely didn't take that. I think that might have been in a trade, and that was assistant coach Ross Smith, who was a defensive coach at Hawthorn. Now at Richmond, part of his contract leaving was, I'm taking the table tennis table with me. Now that Tigers have got it in full flight, and it's working beautifully down there at Tigerland.
Well, when this hard-hitting news story breaks, remember you heard it here first on DraftStar TV.
Hard hitting.
Hard-hitting.
Hard-hitting.
Episode 2.
But seriously though, we did the multicultural testing across 2 days, one at Arden Street, where the Kangaroos train, and one at Punt Road. It was fantastic, had over 150 athletes, multicultural athletes, and then those guys came to our Assumption camp, which was awesome. Mingled with another 50 of our other athletes that came along, so it was a really interesting camp and one that we'll definitely look back at as a turning point for DraftStar.
And I ran one in Sydney for the first time, which was fantastic. Multicultural kids just thriving on the AFL footy. What an enormous vehicle. Wow.
And when you ran the camps at Wesley and Toorak as well, you had some special guests, didn't you?
Special guests, please. We're going to bring the big guns out here at DraftStar. Scotty Pendlebury came down and presented the kids with certificates, and Shane Crawford spent the day with the kids, taking them through drills, competing against them, giving them everything. How he won his premiership, how he played 300 games, Brownlow, and how is he now Auskick ambassador. It's a great story, and it was awesome to have some stars come in.
Hawthorn sent me down to try and find some talent that we might be able to hide for a few years and then draft down to the club. But just watching them go through their drill. There we go. Back on it. DraftStar. You'll get a real kick.
Right, now lads, before we finish up today, I'd just like to get your opinion on something. Down at the Assumption College camp, Rob, where you were based out of, as you know, Brett Deledio, he's been doing some work experience with us. He's been here at the office in at South Yarra, but he wants to do work experience so that he can try and secure a job with us when he finishes his career. The big question is though, are we in danger of losing him to television and radio? Because he's tried his hand at commentating. What do you think of this, fellas?
So we're back here at the Austin Oval here at Assumption College. Well, we've just had a rev up from the great Brett Deledio. Brett, what can you expect to see these boys after you just had a chat to them there?
Oh, plenty of tricks, I suppose, Jake. You know, look like they've got plenty of talent from their warm-up that I've just watched. You know, it'd be interesting to see whether they've taken on anything I said. So, most of the dribble that I spoke, so I'm not expecting too much.
Just like the Channel 7 commentary team, no talking during the ad breaks for the Foxtel viewers.
I'm not sure the umpire's waiting for the commercial breaks to finish, but we'll get on the way.
We had a team competition yesterday.
Yeah.
And the winning team gets to throw water bombs at everyone else now, including the coaches.
Wow.
And you.
You going to get involved?
I'm not getting involved.
You guys think of that?
Well, I'm glad he signed 5 years because I don't think commentating is his strength. It's a bit like commentating on Port Adelaide. You're not really sure who the players are. So it was a good effort. He came to the camp, got involved. Lids is a good, fun guy. So, geez, I'm glad he signed that because I'll tell you what, media's not his go.
It's great that he signed it. If you go back to episode 1, you said that I actually chose him as the star to stand out this year. So he's been killing it.
Season.
He's been killing it so far. Hurt himself a little bit on the weekend, but sure he won't miss too much footy. And it's awesome to see the Tigers show some faith in him and give him 5 years. I know from seeing him in the office, definitely passionate about helping the Tigers become a force again. So,
and in all honesty, 5 years, he probably won't have to work again.
On Facebook, you might have seen Robbie. He'll only show you one take, but he's been filming himself throwing footies.
One off, mate. One off. I literally picked the footy up through it and went in the hoop. Have a look at the footage. DraftStar, you get a real kick. Bang!
So there's the challenge. Robbie's done that. He doesn't reckon that anyone can top him. So what do you have to say about that, Rob? What do you think?
Well, we want a competition. We want to start a competition. We've got a jumper here signed by Brett Deledio, and we want the best video to be uploaded on our Facebook page.
Robbie, after looking at that footage, we realised that the cameraman was out on site for 2 days with that. So hopefully it takes the kids one go. And don't be surprised, we had one boy say, "Oh, I got it." You just got to go, DraftStar, you'll get a real kick. Who's writing this script?
Well, it's been a pleasure as always, gentlemen. Whether the script's been good or not, I've had fun working with you fellas. Now, if you haven't signed up already for the July school holiday camps, make sure you do so in the month of May to secure your 10% discount. And remember, with DraftStar, you'll get a kick. Exit stage left.
First one.
Yeah,
I bet
so
you-
did everyone.
I bet